Here is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson. But you shouldn't call him that. Boris? Boris, of course, that's kind of the English version. Boris. But he is Boris. Boria. You see, a good guy with tousled hair, always. He called on London to lead the campaign to confiscate Russian assets. I'm afraid Putin will be quietly pleased with the results of the EU summit. He has essentially intimidated the EU and the UK, forcing them to abandon an excellent plan to finance Ukraine. A reparations loan would have allowed the release of huge sums from frozen assets. As it stands, the plan to provide Ukraine with a 90 billion euro loan from the EU is better than nothing, but still falls far short. Chancellor Merz of Germany and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen deserve congratulations for their leadership and readiness. Now, as for the United Kingdom, where have we been all this time? As Boris says, Boris for the throne, right? Maybe there will be another Boris on the throne yet. We just don't know, you see, over there. In general, the entire royal court is at each other's throats. They're biting and tearing each other to pieces. Some are dying, some are sick. We don't understand anything. And do we even need them? Of course not. Let them tear each other's hides off over there for all I care. Well, Boris, in principle, has a pretty good attitude toward Russian money. You can just kind of attach them. That is, you can get in there and take it for yourself. Well, into the treasury or not, for the development of England wherever you want. Yes, of course you can. And the money, you see, is enormous. There are billions and billions floating around London. Oh, how much money is there? Russian money, my friends, if only you knew. What do you think? When did they come? In the 90s? In the 2000s? No, not at all. They were already there in the 50s. And you think Stalin was poor? Haha. Was the intelligence service poor? Yeah, haha. The officials who were in the Politburo, the 22 members of the Politburo, NTA, Buren, Politburen, those were the only ones before Stalin. That's all. And everyone was moving money out. Even back then, in the 50s after the war, and before the war, they were moving money out of Russia. Money was never kept in Russia, never, and no one ever kept their money in Russia. And what, did you think they were saving it for you? When you contributed to the pension funds? Yeah, when was that? Remember, about 10 years ago, the whole country was silent and thought that this couldn't possibly happen. They still pay us pensions anyway. First of all, the pensions are tiny, and second, now they won't even pay them anymore. They're still paying for now, just wait a little longer. Just wait until they announce a new mobilization, and then they'll declare that all the money is for the front lines, for victory, for some kind of victory. Got it? So remember and know this, never the money. Russian officials have never kept their money in Russia. Never. Not during Brezhnev's time. Not during Andropov's time either. Did you think Andropov was for a different kind of power? But he was a man of the system. He was a creator of that very system. He supported it too. How could he be for a different kind of power? No, that's it. They're all cut from the same cloth, or all tarred with the same brush. All of them. There is no one and there never was anyone, neither good nor bad. Not even that Khrushchev. They're all the same too. Khrushchev was a supporter of Stalin. He did everything just as Stalin told him. Because Stalin survived after that supposed death. Stalin was alive. I have a story, I published it. By the way, in my own magazine. The magazine is called President, Parliament, Government. In 2008, I published a story there called A Dream on a March Night about how Stalin, after giving all the orders regarding the double who was supposed to be killed, left himself to Chukotka, and from there to that country of El Dorado, which Vladimir Putin is now finishing building. And now everyone is getting ready to go there. But Stalin, at first, he wasn't just in that country of El Dorado. He traveled around the Middle East, settled his children there, divided all of Persia into Greater Azerbaijan, Lesser Azerbaijan. You understand, right? Take a look at the map. We have everything right in front of our eyes. He created Israel, set all sorts of traps for the Israelis, for Israel, in the Middle East, the Gaza Strip. What do you think? Do you think Trump just decided on his own to build in the Gaza Strip, to build a canal, right? Just like the Suez Canal, only he wants to build it through the Gaza Strip. That's why there's a war. But he didn't do this on his own. Who would let the Joker decide such fates of the world matrix? This is about dividing the world matrix. That's why Trump is given the opportunity here, because he's like a joker. With his involvement, everything is perceived very easily, with humor, lightly. Well, the joker jumps around and makes his statements, and people just swallow it with a positive attitude. Have you noticed? No one is outraged, no one goes to battle, no one is going to fight over it, because Trump does it playfully. Well, good for him, of course. That's politics. That's what being an actor is about. Was he always an actor? Well, yes, of course he was. He was a young guy, his parents' son, and he had to do a lot of acting. What are they accusing him of, and where? Everyone is guilty. Everyone is tainted. There are no untainted people at the top. That's why Trump is just like everyone else. He can't be better. He can't be worse. He has to be just like everyone else. Tainted. Take a look at the Russian government, at the officials. What are they like? They're all the same too. We won't list their sins. They know their own sins. And who needs it in the special services? There are files kept everywhere. So the fact that today Prince Harry appeared with Elton John, spoke out against, let's say, the information that was being collected on them, supposedly accused the newspaper. Who else is there to blame? He blamed the newspaper, but in reality, it's the intelligence services that should be blamed. Only the intelligence services are capable of wiretapping Harry's phone, but not the newspaper, you see? So who does Harry want to take it out on? On the newspaper. Because he can't afford to go after anyone else. That's why he took the clown Elton John as his partner. Is that clear? That's how all big politics works. It's strange when officials fight and no one really knows what for. Maybe it's for survival. Maybe their own survival is at stake. That's why they act so foolishly. But now, in Ukraine. Ukraine is preparing for elections, and they will be legitimate. Elections and the Central Election Commission, the CEC of Russia. The CEC of Russia, elections in Ukraine. Is that clear or not? That's how it is, you see. They're ready to provide voting for Ukrainians on the territory of the Russian Federation. Funny, isn't it? Will Ukrainians go to vote? If even one goes. No, they will go, I know. But if even one goes, it will be a betrayal of their own country. But on the territory of Russia, they know how to create all sorts of precedents like that. So Ella Pamfilova made a statement about this. If the elections in Ukraine are legitimate and we are tasked with holding a vote for Ukrainian citizens on Russian territory, this opportunity will be ensured. At the highest level, the Russian president stated during a direct line that the Russian side is ready to consider reducing the depth of the strike. Everything is clear. January 19th, 2026. I am Tanya Karatsuba Seed Burkhan.